Hi, this is my update on the orchids because I got some new blooms and some new spikes that I wanted to record, and new growth, of course. And I'd like to start with my Cattleya white bridal. This is probably my most blooming Cattleya. It blooms easily and it blooms more than once per year, judging by last year. And last time it had only 2 blooms and they were larger, I think. Now this time it produced me 4 blooms. They're a little bit smaller, but still just as beautiful. And the good thing about this cross is that it smells very nice. It has a nice fragrance. To me it smells like roses. And it's like basically all day long. It's not like only in the morning or only during midday. It's from morning to the evening. This room is filled with nice smell of roses. Really like it. So this is Cattleya white bridal. It grows right now in sphagnum moss just because I received it like that. I didn't want to change it. But after it blooms now, I will probably repot it in the bark. Because I grow all my Cattleyas in the bark, and this one probably should be there too. But that's Cattleya white bridal. One of my favorites. And the other set of blooms is on my Neofinetia Asahiden. See, the blooms are open now. Oh, just one bud left. They're just regular Neofinetia blooms, white. There's no mutations in the blooms, but they're pretty and they smell really nice. A little bit of vanilla, sweet smell, typical to Neofinetias. Here's the coming up spike. This is Aerides houlettiana. There are 2 parts of the same plant. It happens that when I received it, it was a mama plant and a keiki growing on it, but the plant rotted through the stem, and so I had to cut all the bad stuff. And so these pieces kind of are what's left of the large plant, but I think it's doing well. Both pieces grew me some roots, and one of them, I think it was a mama, actually spiked. And this species does not need very bright light to spike. In my room here, it was standing here, see, pretty far from the window, and it spiked here, so that's good. This is Aerides houlettiana. I'm really looking forward to see the blooms. This is supposed to be really fragrant. Now this is my Cattleya skinneri, and I forgot to include it into my Cattleya update, but it's currently growing 2 new bulbs. One is there and one is on this side, so I'm pretty sure those bulbs will create me blooms when they're fully grown, but they have way to grow to this big size. It's a large Cattleya. And another change is that I removed my little baby seedlings, Neofinetia. I'm growing this from flask. See, I have 4 community pots. This is Manjushage crossed with Shutenno. And I'm really hoping that at least one of 21 seedlings will have 3 spores. So it will be pink with 3 spores, which is, there's very slim chance. I think breeders say that there's about 20%. 20% of the flask might have 3 spores. So out of 21, what, 2 might? But I'm really excited about this flask, even if they will be just regular ones. And it was in a tank, but now I removed it because I think they're fine. Neofinetias don't really care about humidity that much, and it's pretty warm now. It's summer almost, so they will be okay here. But for the winter time, I will probably put them back in a tank just to prolong their growing period, right? Because usually here, Neofinetias go a little bit dormant. They don't grow that much during winter, but in a tank, they will continue to grow. That's what they did whole winter, the previous one. But for now, they're here. And I did it because I needed space in a tank for now. This is my Dendrobium farmeri. It was a bit butchered. I tried to divide it, but it was hard to, it wasn't breaking naturally, so I had to cut it. And I think it's got over it, because there's one new growth and this is another new growth. So it's growing new bulbs, which is good. And can you see the Hoya Bella has a whole bunch of new panicles. And I just saw some here. So there's lots of them, so there will be lots of blooms. I think one is there pretty far ahead. See it? So Hoya Bella is gonna bloom soon with many, many blooms. And this is my Hoya heushkeliana, which also continues to produce the little buds. They're buds. There's little panicle. It's hard to focus, but yeah, they're there. What's with my recent purchases of Phragmipediums? I did lose all the buds. They just went brown. None of them survived, so I didn't get any flowers. Now this is Eumelia Arias, and I think it kind of bounced back after all the shippings, and I'm pretty sure it's growing because I see this middle getting a little bit bigger. So that's Eumelia Arias. This is Waunakee Sunset. Also, see that little leaf there? Before I didn't see it there, but now it's appearing. So it's I think they're slowly adjusting. Yeah, I had to cut. This one had lots of spikes when it arrived. Here there were spikes here, but I had to cut them off because they all went brown. And now I'm hoping this new growth and this new growth, and well, they're very small ones too at the base. I hope they will grow and maybe bloom for me. Maybe not, but for now my task is to keep them alive and growing. So that's Waunakee Sunset. And what else I bought? This one here is Peruflora Cirila Alca. This one is the most unfortunate one. Both growths had very low bud and they all rotted. So there was rot inside. I put lots of cinnamon inside, so I hope it stopped. And then one of these growths has absolutely no roots because everything rotted. So it's basically sitting on top of medium, and I tied it to the one that has some roots. I don't know what comes out of it. I'm prepared to lose this plant, like mentally prepared. But maybe there is a chance. See, I can see a little root growing there. Maybe at least one of them will survive and produce the babies. But for now, they're just sitting there and trying to grow roots. So even if they grow some roots, they will still need to create new fans for the blooms to come at some point. So I'm not expecting anything from this plant for probably a couple of years. And this one here is Phragmipedium Sedenii, which didn't come from a cogenera, it came from Rascitzel. It's a pretty robust plant, and this new growth is actually growing. I can see it's growing very well. And there are some new root tips in the pot. So I'm really happy with this one. Now this is my Zygopetalum Rhein Moonlight, which I just repotted. I cleaned up some, there was one bulb kind of rotting. So I kind of, and it was not the last one, it was in the middle. So I had to break the plant. So there are two parts in there, I think, yeah. And there are two new growths. This is the new growth, and this is the new growths that are growing. I'm pretty sure this report probably set back my plant, but it looks much healthier now because there are some spotted leaves and rotting bulb in the middle. So I wanted to clean it up, and it's still in sphagnum moss, all the fresh sphagnum moss, and a clay pot. So hopefully it'll readjust, and maybe one day it blooms for me. Probably not for a while. That's a Zygopetalum Rhein Moonlight. Now what's going on in tank? My Paphiopedilum Alois Handlbauer is still in bloom, and it's still going strong, so it's pretty long lasting bloom. And Ho Chi Minh is gone, the bloom is gone, so I repotted it. The roots were kind of like, there were some roots, but there was no new root tips, so I hope it will start to produce new growth on the roots. And this one here is Aerides flabellata or Vanda flabellata that I received from Rascitzel in one of our yearly trades, and it actually bloomed for me. Look, their blooms, they're so pretty. And this plant is quite finicky actually. It does not like dry conditions. So I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buds. So it was standing beside my houlettiana, Aerides houlettiana, and then suddenly the buds started to go yellow and dropped. And Rascitzel suggested that's probably because the humidity was too low. So I squeezed it inside of tank, and it stopped dropping the buds, and so I got some flowers. But now I need to make a note to myself that when this plant starts to spike, I need to put it inside a tank. So it likes higher humidity while developing the buds. So I had to rearrange my tank a little bit. The hibiki got kicked out. So hibiki is now standing with Neofinetias. And while rearranging, I also put some of my new Phragmipediums inside of tank. See, that's my Fritz Schomburg right there. Doesn't do much yet. Doesn't have any roots. So hopefully it'll grow some roots. And on the right there is a Carol Kanzer crossed with Handlbauer. That one is growing. I can see new growth on that plant, so that one is good. On the back I have my Wistrepia, who started the blooming cycle. This plant blooms a lot, and so you can see it started to produce some flowers. It's really crowded in here, but I think the plants are fine. So that's my jumbo Mickey's getting jumbo. And these are 2 back bulbs from my Zygopetalum. I was repotting and cleaning it up, and those 2 back bulbs, I I had to remove it because of the rotting bulb in the middle, but I didn't want to throw them away yet because they're still green. Maybe they will produce me new growth, so I'll have a whole new plant. Maybe not, we'll see. But it's there. And what else? So my Cattleya gladiatorium cross barbatum that I got from Gabriel Carson, producing the spike now. And it's always first to bloom. And it has really short rest period. So, and it grows really fast and starts to spike really fast. So that's good. I will have some blooms. I think the blooms, I really like fragrance on these blooms. And my Hoyas are trying to bloom. Look, that's Hoya David Kamengyan. Those buds don't mean much yet. They might drop, but they might bloom. We'll see what's gonna happen. And the same thing is with where is it? It should be there somewhere. Okay, I lost them. Oh, yeah, there. See? And there is a pentacle too. This is Hoya Thompsonii. And all my Hoyas actually are doing great. They're producing new leaves, new vines. So I'm getting that jungle look that I wanted. See, now it's focused. Really nice jungle look. And my Phalaenopsis are doing their thing and producing buds. So that's Tineshin Fly Eagle. For some reason, bud looks wrong way, but it's there. Pretty soon there will be flower. And another one of the Kingfisher large falls. I think this one has the dark blooms with a pattern like a snake skin. Really like that one. So it should bloom soon. And there's a keiki too, but that keiki still doesn't have much of its own roots. So when it produces its own roots, I will give it to rest itself. For now, it's like it needs to be with mama. And what else happening here? My Paphiopedilum venustum. It started to grow new. Spike right there. But then I think it turned its attention to two new growths because they rapidly started to grow larger. So I don't know, maybe it decided to grow two new fans first and then bloom. Or maybe it'll do it simultaneously, we'll see. But I'm really looking forward to see the bloom on this one. This is Venustum Pardanii, which is supposed to be more orangey than the regular form. It should be interesting. And yeah, I removed my Neofinetia seedlings from here because this space is reserved for new arrivals. A while ago, I ordered some plants from Aquagenera, which should arrive soon, probably end of this week or next week. And there will be 3 miniature orchids that are gonna be staying here for a while to acclimatize, and 2 not so miniature, so there will be 5 orchids in the order. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I don't want to spoil it. We'll have to wait for the video. But yeah, that's why I rearranged it to free some space at the top for the new miniature orchids that are coming from Aquagenera. And yeah, that was my update for, I don't know what it is, it's June already. Anyway, just orchids update to see what's going on here. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.